Dunkirk is directed by Christopher Nolan and takes place in World War II at the Battle of Dunkirk. Allied forces that were trapped on this beach that were surrounded by German forces. They're this close to home. They can literally see it, but they can't get there because every attempt that they try to make, they get attacked, they get picked off in the sky by planes. And this film is just centered around this moment of people working together to try to get these men off this beach and back home. Now, going into this film, I really didn't have the highest of expectations. I had seen the trailers for Dunkirk. None of them really stuck out to me, and in all honesty, I'm not a big fan of the war film genre. I just haven't really sunk my teeth into too many of those films. But I love Christopher Nolan. Every film that he's done, I've seen. I love all of his work, so I was looking forward to see what he was going to bring to the genre. A lot of critics and fans are divided over this film. One side is claiming it to be a masterpiece, the other side is saying that it's cold and it's emotionless. I thought it was fantastic. I saw this in IMAX and was able to get the full scope of what Christopher Nolan was intending to do. He doesn't like filming digital. He likes filming on actual film. I distinctly remember hearing during the film the little reel of the hearing that noise. It brought me back to my childhood. And the way that he was able to shoot this film, it looks absolutely gorgeous. The cinematographer did an incredible job showing this beach in such a beautiful way, but at the same time, also really highlighting the terror and the horror of being in the situation. The sound mixing made it so that when aerial attacks were going from the planes, when gunshots were going off, they were edgy, they hit with impact, they were sharp. Honestly, the first time that a gunshot went off in the movie, I jumped out of my seat because it was so loud and so impactful. The score by Hans Zimmer is very subdued. It's much more of a sound effect score than anything. It's really trying to emphasize the points of what sounds you're hearing and what you're seeing visually on the screen rather than something like The Dark Knight where it's booming with that trombone and that bass the way that Hans Zimmer likes to do. This film is suspenseful. I was on the edge of my seat through the entire film. It's one of the most suspenseful films that you're going to see this year. I recently saw an article about a veteran that was at Dunkirk that went and saw the movie and they thought that they were put right back into the scene of what had happened to them.
I had the privilege of seeing that film tonight, but I am saddened by it because what happened on that beach. I was 20 when that happened, but I think it brought back, I could see my old friends.
If the person that was actually there is saying that this is how it felt like, that's incredible for a filmmaker to be able to capture that. One of the big complaints that people have with this movie is that they didn't really have a character to draw to. There wasn't really an emotional investment with each character that you would find in movies like Saving Private Ryan. With Dunkirk, it's told in a very different way, and it didn't really bother me. I believe that the lack of character development in Dunkirk was purposeful. This was a time that was hectic, that was insane. They didn't have time to sit down and look at each other and go, so what are you gonna do when you get back from here? And so that lack of character development, that lack of getting that emotional attachment to a character makes it so much more visceral and makes the stakes so much higher because you really don't know who's going to go in this movie. They don't have a main character. However, the film isn't without flaw. There's a couple things with the editing that kind of made it more jumbled for me. I feel like Christopher Nolan does a good job of doing that non-linear storytelling and giving those big reveals with movies like Memento, movies like The Prestige. But with Dunkirk, this is a film that really could have been streamlined to build that suspense to the grand finale, that the nonlinear storytelling that they put in a couple scenes in particular kind of undercuts the suspense that he's trying to bring out in the movie. Not that it becomes slow and boring when he tries to change the storytelling, more so it takes you out of it because you have to try to think of what part of the timeline that you're currently watching, and that takes away the suspense from the moments that you're trying to invest in. Is Dunkirk a perfect movie? I don't think so. Is it better than Interstellar? I actually tend to agree with that. However, we have to celebrate how great of a director Christopher Nolan is, that this film invites conversation, invites you to want to explore what he did in this movie and really get your opinion for yourself. I don't think everybody is going to agree with me with this review, but that's the beauty of film, that it invites discussion, it invites controversy in a lot of ways, and I think this film does a great job of doing that and also paying a great tribute to the people at Dunkirk and the veterans that were there and the experience. I'm going to give Dunkirk a 9 out of 10. So guys, what did you think of Dunkirk? Please, whatever you thought, let me know down below. Give me all of it. If you have spoilers, make sure that you leave a spoiler tag so that you don't ruin it for anybody. Thank you as always for watching. I love being able to put out these reviews, and I will see you at the next review.